Welcome to another edition of DUALpreneur Virtual Mastermind. We come together and we learn together. We ask questions, and I bring the experts in to answer those questions. Now, everyone is probably quarantined right about now. My doctor has ordered me to be self-quarantined because I'm diabetic. And the reality is, if you have a health issue, the recovery is not good. You're probably not going to recover. So it's best that you stay inside. It's not that you have it, is if you come in contact with someone. So make sure you protect yourself. If you're watching this way after the pandemic, we lived, we survived to talk about it and tell about it, okay? But everything we're talking about now still applies for the future as well. Some of the tips that Bernadette is going to share, you still need to put them into play now and in the future. So we're going to get right into it. Thank you everyone for joining in. If you are being seen and I can see you, we will recognize your business. Afterwards, let the world know who you are. You're not in business unless people know you're in business. There we go. Look at Miss, the beautiful Atia. Hey, girl. Hey, boo. Hey. So we're going to get started. Everyone, if you can, please mute. If you don't, I'll try to mute you as well. But we want to get Miss Bernadette our undivided attention because she has some very important information that we are going to need, especially if you're a small business owner. I'm sure you've heard of the SBA, the Small Business Administration, has a disaster recovery loan that's available to small businesses. But who qualifies for it? How can you tell you qualify for it? How can you qualify for it? And then most importantly, how can you apply if you do qualify? Well, that's why I brought my sister from another mister, Bernadette L. Harris, the forensic accountant, to come in and tell us. She is the expert in all things accounting. So, you know, I always yield. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Oh, yes, you are.
So Bernadette, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been a great week and we get to do the big finale of the week with you. So thank you so much for joining us. While you're here, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and, you know, about this SBA loan? Who can get it? Can I get it? How do I apply for it?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be here. I've watched a couple of the other ones, so I'm like thrilled to be in the number because you've had some really awesome people on during this week for this mastermind. So thank you for that invitation. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Bernadette L. Harris, and I'm a tax and forensic accountant with By the Book Accounting. I've been in business. I'm going on 19 years in my accounting firm, and I chuckle sometimes because I never wanted to be an accountant, nor did I want to be an entrepreneur. I actually went to college thinking that I was going to be a math teacher. I got in as an education major, and I thought, oh, I was going to teach math because I've always liked numbers, always been good with numbers. I took one education course and was like, not for me. So I had my college algebra professor, she said, well, you're good with numbers. Why don't you try accounting? And I did. I said, okay. The next semester I took an accounting class and I loved it. And aced every single class. I was in the front of the room. Everybody wanted to study with me when it came to accounting because I got it. It clicked for me. And I really loved it. But I never thought that I'd be an entrepreneur. I thought, you know, I'd be like my mom. I'd work at a company for 30 years and retire, get my watch, and, you know, keep it moving. But almost 19 years ago, 2 months after 9/11, I started my accounting firm. And the reason that I share that 2 months after 9/11, most people think like we're not going to make it out of this, or people are afraid. They don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people have stopped doing their businesses. They've gotten scared or whatever the case may be. I started my accounting firm 2 months after 9/11. And here I am, you know, going on 19 years. And so I'm saying all that to encourage those of you who are in business to not give up. If you started your business, you started it for a reason, and hold on to that reason. So that's my story. That's who I am. Let's talk about this SBA loan because I want to help as many small businesses stay in business as possible. That's my motto, keeping small business in business. And it's truly what my heart, like I've been on town hall meetings all week. I said, I haven't even been productive in my business because I'm gathering information and making sure that I have enough information to share with my clients, and as well as the other people that I know who are in business, because I want us all to stay in business. So with this SBA loan, the SBA recognizes that small business is the backbone of our economy. I don't know if most of you know it, but 48% of the employers in the United States work for a small business. So let that sink in for a second. 48% of U.S. workers work for a small business. And by definition, the SBA's definition of a small business is an organization with less than 500 employees. And so I know some of you may have micro businesses where it's just you, and there may be others where you have people maybe on payroll, or you have contractors that are working for you, but that encompasses us all, right? So when we look at the small business disaster loan, it's a relief. It is the what do you call that thing when you're at the pool and you're about to drown? What is it called?
A life
preserver. So it's a life preserver for small businesses. There are some small businesses that had to close. Restaurants are closing. Event planners, all of their events are canceled, and so the SBA recognizes that the government has to do something, have to step in. So this disaster recovery loan is in place to help those businesses that have been negatively impacted by the coronavirus. We know that stuff has been shut down. Some businesses have ground to a halt. Some businesses have slowed down. And so if you are one of those business owners where you've been affected by the coronavirus, this loan may be a resource for you. And the reason that I say may is because, unfortunately, there are a lot of small businesses that won't qualify for this loan. And so, is it okay if I be real? Is it okay if I be real? Like,
girl, please, you know better than that.
Some small businesses, they're not going to qualify for this loan. And the reason that they won't qualify is because, let me just give you some reasons. And you might know somebody. Maybe it's not you, but you might know somebody like this. And so, there are some small businesses that really aren't legit. You really aren't a legitimate business. You hustling. You just got to hustle. You getting paid on Cash App. You're not reporting the stuff on your tax return. You just hustling. So those small businesses, this loan isn't for you. There are other small businesses where you don't have financials. You don't keep up with anything. You get your nails done with the business debit card, and you're doing all kind of commingling stuff, and you don't have good financial records. And so if that's you, this loan is not going to be for you. Then there are small business owners who aren't claiming their business on their taxes. You haven't reported on your taxes. You bake cakes on the side, you do hair on the side, you may teach a couple of classes or whatever, and you're not even reporting it on your tax return. And so because you have no footprint of being a legitimate business owner, you will not be able to qualify for this loan. So that's the bad news. But let's talk about the good news. There are a lot of business owners who will be able to qualify for it. And I know I've heard it. People have said SBA loans are hard to get, and a lot of times a lot of business owners get denied. But I know I have a lot of clients who have SBA loans. So I know for a fact that it is possible. Business owners do get these loans, and this disaster recovery loan has the requirements are a lot more relaxed. So they're not as stringent. The underwriting process isn't the same as an SBA loan, because they recognize that they gotta get this money into the hands of the small businesses as quickly as possible to keep them afloat. So before we talk about anything with the SBA, I see some stuff in the chat. I don't know if I'm gonna take a pause and just check that.
No, we're just talking about how awesome you are and how people need to connect with you. That's all.
Okay.
There's no questions yet, but we're anticipating, we're just saying how awesome Bernadette
Okay.
is.
All right. So let's talk about how this SBA loan works, right? So one of the things that's different about this SBA loan is it is a direct loan with the SBA. So you do not have to go through an SBA approved bank. This loan is coming directly from the SBA. Typically, when you get an SBA loan, it's SBA backed. So you may get the loan from Bank of America, and the SBA is standing behind them saying, "Hey, if this person defaults, we're gonna remedy it. We'll take care of this loan." This loan comes directly from the SBA. That's one thing that's different. Another thing that is different is typically nonprofit organizations. None of the services that the SBA offers is for nonprofit organizations, but nonprofit organizations can apply for this loan. So that is also something that is good. So if you have a legitimate nonprofit organization that's doing great work in the community, this may be an opportunity for you to be able to keep your organization going. Now, I must add that religious organizations are not included. So if your nonprofit is like a mission-based kind of organization, those organizations can apply. But if they're like tutoring services or mentoring services, things like that for helping veterans, helping homeless people, things like that, those kind of nonprofits can apply.
So I just want to ask you a question while you're going through this. Is that okay?
Yes.
So
please.
you mentioned that churches, so essentially any church, any faith-based organization does not qualify for this SBA loan. But
Correct.
churches who have nonprofit arms that support community.
If they have that's a great question. So if there's a seat, like they do the CDC programs where it's an arm of the church, then that may be something different. So that's something to think about. So that also goes back to organizations having tax returns. So are these nonprofits filing 990s for their organizations? Do they have, tax returns? Because just like a small business, the nonprofit organization has to have a tax return too. The loans can go up to $2 million. And again, I know that a lot of the people that are on this call, you may be part-time in business, or maybe your business is small where you probably don't need 2 million and you probably can't qualify for 2 million. But it's designed, again, by definition, a small business is an organization that has less than 500 employees. And so you can imagine that a company that, perhaps has 100 employees could use 2 million to stay afloat. The first $25,000 is unsecured. So what does that mean? Usually the SBA requires some type of collateral. So they will put a lien on your house if you don't pay it back, things like that. The first $25,000 is unsecured. So you don't have to worry about that. The underwriting timelines for this loan are quick. They're looking to approve these loans in 14 to 21 days. Anybody that's ever gotten a loan knows that underwriting doesn't take you. I mean, you work in financial institutions, so you know that loans don't happen like that.
Not with the SBA loans.
No, those loans are any kind of government loan is going to take forever, right? So that's one of the things. So another thing that you got to make sure that the businesses that are ready are going to be the businesses that can prove that they had income before the COVID-19, and now COVID-19 has impacted their business. So I have several clients that I'm working with directly to help them with it because they've been impacted. Hair salons, restaurants, floral shops, event planners, things like that. These businesses, especially hospitality industry, speakers, yes, I see that. Speakers, because now you can't fly, you can't go, it's a lot of businesses that have been impacted. And I heard you said that you lost what, $10,000?
$10,000 for 3 speaking engagements. Yeah.
So so they just need to see that you've actually had some income before this happened. And if you did, you more than likely kind of fit into that bucket of those that qualify. They don't have a minimum credit score, but I think they are looking to make sure that you at least paid your bills. So we know that there are several components to the credit score. Late payment history is a part of it, utilization. And Tara, this is your area of expertise. But if you have late payments, you're probably not gonna get approved. And so I'll use my sister's analogy, which I use it a lot from her book. It's like, if you meet a dude and he cheated on his last girlfriend, boo, what makes you think he's not gonna cheat on you? Like, for real though, so
For real though,
that's just, we said we was gonna keep it real, right? And so it's the same thing. If you pay Citibank late, what makes the SBA is sitting there looking at you like, so you're trying to tell me that you paid Citibank late, but you're not gonna pay us late? So late payments might disqualify you, but still apply. It's not gonna hurt to apply to see. What else did I want to say? Oh, the interest rates. The interest rates are super, super low. So for a business, the interest rate is 3.75. Nonprofit organizations, the interest rate is 2.75. So you get to borrow this money at a really low interest rate. Another thing is, the first payment is not due for 12 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you get a 12-month deferral on your first payment. So this loan is truly designed to get you back in business, get you back operational, so that you can, keep your business going and worry about repaying us in the next 12 months. So that's something that's also unprecedented. Usually it's about a 4, maybe a 6-month deferral. 12 months is something that they created specifically because of what's going on right now. You have 30 years to repay the loan.
Wait a minute, you say that again? You said
yeah.
How many years?
30 years.
So that's a mortgage.
Yeah, it's a mortgage.
So is it based on the amount of money that you borrow? Is it a scaling up, or everything is 30 years?
Everything is 30 years. Everything is 30 years, but there are no prepayment penalties. So if you get to the point where you just want to knock this loan out and don't pay any more interest on it, you can, and there's no penalty for doing so. But one of the things about being able to stretch the loan out for 30 years is you're looking at a low payment.
Right. So are they going to report on business credit reports or personal
That's a
credit
good
reports?
question. I'm not sure. I don't know if they're reporting it under your personal credit or business credit. That's an excellent question.
They probably won't report it on the personal credit, but I'm thinking they would probably want, unless they're going to report if it defaults. So they, may not report if you're in good standing, but they'll report if it defaults, which doesn't really help small businesses trying to build credit. But I guess we just need to get some more clarification.
Yeah, that's a good question. It'll probably be another town hall. So if I jump on it, I'll definitely ask that question, because that's a really good question that I haven't heard. And I've heard this information, like I almost feel like I can do a presentation. Well, I am right now.
You are, right?
And I forgot to do my disclaimer. I do not work for the SBA. I am not affiliated with the SBA. I am just sharing information that I have gathered for myself and my clients. Yes. So the application process is pretty painless. One of the things that you may want to do is go to the website, download the paper application, just so that you can see all of the stuff that they need. Maybe fill it out ahead of time, so when you go to the online application, you can just knock it out all in one fell swoop. Now, if you aren't able to do that, you can save the application and come back to it later. So if you start the application today and you got to go find some stuff, or you're working on your taxes right now and you need those tax returns, you can do that. They are requesting tax transcripts, because with all of the mortgage fraud that we had a couple of years ago, all lenders are requesting tax transcripts. So please, please, please do not submit a tax return for this loan that you didn't submit to the IRS, because they will know, and that is fraud. So let's not do that. It doesn't matter your entity type. So you can be a sole proprietorship, you could be a partnership, S Corp, or C Corp. A lot of people ask that question. And again, the online process, the application process is online. So you can go to the SBA's website and start the process online. Now, here's one thing that I wanted to share also. If, let's say you apply now and you get declined. When you get declined, there is a number. They're going to send you an email that basically says, no, I'm just kidding. The email is basically going to say, sorry, we can't approve you, but there will be a number in that email. Make sure you call the number to find out why you were declined. And the reason that you want to do that is because if it's something that you can fix, if it's something like, I don't know what the reasons are, because I haven't gotten any feedback yet from any of the people that I've helped. But let's say it's credit, like you need to get your credit score up, right? And so you may work on getting your credit score up for the next 3 or 4 months, because you can apply for this loan up until December. So let's say you need to get your credit score up, you get your credit score up and reapply. So that's just something else to.
How many times can people reapply?
I don't know I know the deadline for applying for the loan is in December. So that's just my own strategy. I don't think they said that. Like, that's my own thing. Like, if you get declined and it's something that you can fix it and then go back and apply again. Because you have until, I think it's December 18th, but please don't quote me. I know it's mid-December to apply for this loan. So again, if it's something that you can fix, you may have some time. 6 months is enough time to get your credit score up. If you kind of do some things, talk to Tara, she can help you get that credit score up and then apply again if that's the reason that you're declined. Now, if you're declined for other reasons, like you didn't have sufficient income and all of that, then there may not be anything you can do about that in the next 6 months. So I'm gonna pause. See, I don't know. Do we have questions, or are people just like sitting there looking?
Yes, we do. We do have questions. Danielle,
Okay.
You can unmute yourself. She has a question for you.
Okay.
Hi, Bernadette.
Hi, Danielle.
Thank you for this great information. I am familiar with SBA from a previous, like on a personal side, but from a business perspective, pretty new. But I have rental properties, and I saw somewhere on the website, like there's some loan version of the loan, maybe this one, that rental property owners would qualify or could apply.
I believe it's the same loan.
It is, okay.
Because yes, I did the application because I wanted to see what the process was like, and I was like, hey, what the heck, because if I don't need the money, then I could just say I'm good. But if I need it, I like to. Credit is one of those things that you want to get it when you don't need it. Apply for it and have it when you don't need it. So I don't know how long this is gonna last. Right now I'm fine, but if this lasts for 6 months, maybe it won't be.
Yeah.
So I did go through the application process, and I saw something in there about landlords or something like that. So I would say check out the website. I believe it's the exact same application.
Same. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bernadette, you mentioned the website. Can you give us that website again? So
the website is sba.gov/disaster. sba.gov/disaster. And you can go to that website and it'll take you to the application for the SBA loan. I'm gonna go through. I have like some notes, so I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I know one thing, if you didn't file your 2019, they will take 2018. But here's something else that you want to consider. If 2019 was better, meaning you made more income, you might want to hurry up and file 2019 so that they will be considering that income. Because see, this is the thing. In addition to seeing that you have been impacted, they need to see that you're going to be able to pay them back. Because this is a loan. This is not a grant. And so even though they've relaxed some of the requirements, we still have to be mindful that they're not just handing out this money to any and everybody. They need to make sure that whatever business that they're actually giving these loans to, that these business owners are going to be able to repay this loan.
So I got another question for you. I just lost it. Dag, what were you just talking about?
I was talking about making sure you have the income to be able to support.
Oh, do you have to? Would it matter if you had a profit or a loss on the tax return. So say if your business, you report a loss on there because of expenses, because a lot
Yeah,
of
I
small
would
businesses
think
are.
that if you had a loss, you might not, that may negatively impact you, because again, they're thinking you had more expenses than you had income. How are you going to pay me back?
So even though it may be a great strategy for those that are trying to get a refund, it's not going to help you when you're trying to get a loan.
Not at all. Not at all. And yeah. And I see it all the time. Business owners don't want to pay taxes, so they want to write everything off. And then when you try, you can't finance a bike when it comes down to it, because you claiming all these deductions on your loan. So I'm just gonna scroll through my notes real quick just to make sure that I didn't forget anything about that SBA loan. And they also have a 1-800 number that can help you if you have questions throughout the process, and they also have an email address, and that email address is on the SBA's website. So they're really trying to help people with this loan. Now, the new bill that passed like a minute ago, was it about 5 minutes ago? Well, they have to get the president's signature on it. So
The
there
president has
is
already,
something, and
the president has
he
already
did
signed
sign it.
it. My concern
Okay,
is,
so
their execution. Have they planned that out? I'm not quite sure about it, but
yeah, and that. So I was on the town hall today with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Yes, getting confused. I've been on like 6 this week. So I was on the town hall today with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and they were talking about the loan that is in this stimulus package. And this loan is a little bit different from the loan that I just told you about, because this loan has a forgiveness feature in there. And so I need to go back and read some more about it, but the nuts and bolts of it it's really for companies that have employees, because it's about, they'll forgive the loan if you use that money for like salaries. So if you had employees before COVID-19 and you use this loan money to keep those employees employed for a certain amount of time, then you can get a portion of your loan forgiven. So that's something else to consider as well. I'm gonna pause and wet my whistle and see if we have any questions, comments.
so if you have any questions, this is a great time to unmute yourself and you can ask Miss Bernadette any questions. It's some great information, especially because there's a lot of confusion about this SBA disaster recovery loan versus what was just passed in the $2 trillion stimulus package. Is a completely different program. So that's good information to know, especially how to apply, and that if you are real estate and company and you're a real estate investor, that there is an opportunity for you to apply as well, right?
Yeah.
If you're a landlord.
You're a landlord. I did see something in the application when I was going through the application process about that relief for that. Now, if there are anybody on the live session or listening to the replay and you live in the Atlanta area, if your business is located in the city of Atlanta, and a lot of cities across the country have been doing something similar to this. So just kind of check your city. But if you live in the Atlanta area, the city of Atlanta has set aside $1.5 million for small business loans, and those loans are being administered by Invest Atlanta. So to qualify for those loans, you have to have a physical location. So home-based businesses don't qualify. So these loans are intended for like the businesses that are closed right now, like the restaurants and the flower shops and the yoga studios and the gyms and things like that. There is a loan available for you. And this loan has some pretty good terms as well, because this loan has a 0% interest rate. 0% interest rate. You do have 5 years to repay the loan, and the loans can go from $5,000 to $30,000. So again, it can be something that you can use in addition to the disaster recovery loan if you fit the other criteria.
Now, are these loans or are they lines of credit?
This is a loan. So you will get this, if you qualify for a $30,000 loan, you will get a $30,000 deposit in your bank account.
What about for the SBA? Is that
Same.
a line of credit? It's a loan.
It's a loan. It's a loan.
Okay.
Yeah. So loans, so for the people who may not know, a loan means that you get all of the money that you borrow at one time, right? And you start paying interest on the balance of that loan. If you have a line of credit, you have access to the money and you pull it when you need it. The difference is when it comes down to the cost of a loan versus a line of credit, sometimes a loan will cost more if you use the line of credit the way it's intended. And line of credits aren't intended to be maxed out and stay maxed out. Line of credits are usually intended to just fill in gaps, cash flow gaps that you have in your business. So if something happens and you need to make payroll, you pull down from the line of credit. Then when that big client pays you, you pay the line of credit off. So that's kind of the difference between the two of those. So as we kind of I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about, but one other thing that I want to make sure I leave you with and impress upon you is recognize that while this is assistance, these are things that will keep you in business. Please know that this is a loan and you still have to repay it. And so understand that you have to repay it, like you gotta, so make sure that you're not borrowing more money than you have the ability to repay. Or if your business, like some businesses are going to change after this virus. There are going to be businesses that there are going to be major shifts in organizations. And so will that change mean a decline in income, or will you have to pivot and try something new? You got to consider all of those things before you kind of jump out there and take out a loan. So I have been talking a lot. I hope that this information was helpful and at least help you guys to look at how you can prepare to apply for this loan. So if you're not ready today, and this is the data, we're in March, if you're not ready right now, maybe you'll be ready in September if you do a few things and move some stuff around. I don't know what that looks like for you.
So if there's a business owner that is watching this and they need help with preparing or seeing if they qualify, how can they get in touch with you?
So my business website is bythebookaccounting.com. So if you're interested in working with us, schedule a discovery call so we can talk about what it is that you need, how we can help you. If you want to follow me on social media, my handle is Trust Bernadette on all social media platforms. So feel free to follow me there. I'll just say, if you do send me a LinkedIn request, personalize it, because if I don't know, I probably won't. Yeah, just personalize it, because I probably won't accept it. I got like 150 of them that I got to go through.
Yeah, and I must say that her websites are absolutely fabulous.
They sure are. Yeah, so check them out. TrustBernadette.com, bythebookaccounting.com. So one of the things that I've been doing, one of the things that I am very happy about, and I'm kind of pat myself on the back, is that my clients that have applied for this loan, they're already ready. We don't have to get ready because we're already ready. They have tax returns. They have business financials. They're not commingling funds. They're reporting all of their income. And so all of the clients that I know that have been filing for it, hopefully they all get approved. Now, I don't know what their other stuff looks like, but as far as the documentation that they need for this loan, they're already ready. So if you don't have that kind of relationship with your accountant, or you don't have an accountant, or God forbid, if you're a business owner doing your taxes yourself on TurboTax, shame on you, because even if you know how to do your taxes yourself, you need to have a relationship with an accountant, because you're not studying the tax code like we are. You're not staying abreast of these things like we are. You might be able to answer some questions in TurboTax, but TurboTax can't tell you how, if I make this decision, how will it impact my taxes? And that's this kind of stuff that having a relationship with an accountant will enable you to do that. So if you don't, even if it's not me, like even if I'm serious about that, I have girlfriends and friends that are accountants. So if you go to one of them, just have an accountant as a small business owner. It's not optional. It's
one of the great things of having an accountant and having my sister girls as accountants, if you are trying to legitimize your business, you want to talk to your accountant to identify which status is going to impact or how it's going to impact your business. So how will it affect me tax-wise to be a sole proprietor? Everybody's trying to be a LLC. With the changes in the tax laws, that may not be a good idea. So you want to talk to an accountant to see how those changes or those different classifications will affect you in the long run as far as taxes are concerned.
Yeah, and Google, you asking Google and your cousin, y'all don't have the same situation. I cringe when I hear people say stuff like that, like, oh, my cousin is an S Corp, so I'm gonna be an S Corp.
And what does S Corp stand for? I don't know.
What does that mean? What is that? And so that's another session.
That's a whole nother session.
Yeah,
we'll definitely have you back to really talk about that. And thank you so much, Bernadette. I am now going to open this up to the room. Those that are on video will get the opportunity to share their business, let the world know who they are. If you do not want to show your face, that's fine. It's not a requirement. We hopefully will catch you on the next time so that you can share your business with everyone. But Danielle, please let us know who you are and what business you have, what products and services you do. And I have this hashtag of keep DUALpreneurs in business. We can keep DUALpreneurs in business if we just do business within ourselves, within the community. So if you have a concern, you have a business need, put it out there. There is someone in the group that can help you or refer you to another DUALpreneur. So we want to keep DUALpreneurs in business. Thank you, Ms. Danielle.
Hi, thanks, Tara. So Danielle Winters, and my company is Women Build Wealth. I am, as I mentioned, a property owner, real estate investor, and really working with other women, encouraging women to become investors in real estate as well. I can be found on Instagram at Women Build Wealth, Women Build Wealth.
Great. And do you have a website?
I don't. We've been talking, right?
I guess we'll be talking, huh? Right?
Get with her. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm just saying Bernadette's websites are the bomb. I'm just saying.
All right, I'll check them out. Thank you.
Yeah, so, and I'm Tara Jackson, AKA Madam Money. I do a lot of financial consultations, but I do a lot of financial contributions to media. That's all I've been doing all week with this Corona stimulus. But my DUALpreneur side hustle thing, if you will, is building websites. Been doing it for 25 years. Love doing it. It doesn't require me to talk to a lot of people. I don't need to be around a lot of people. My introvertness adores it. It allows my creativity to go. Bernadette is actually one of my clients, so, I'm a little biased, but they are the bomb, though.
They are the bomb, though.
But if you'd like more information on how you can build your website so you can build your virtual storefront, you can go to SRJ Websites. Stands for Stephanie Roger Jean. That's my mother, my grandfather, and my grandmother. Stephanie Roger Jean. SRJWebsites.com. Schedule a consultation. Let's talk about it. Other than that, Bernadette, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing that information. We will definitely have you back to talk about the different codes that, the different classifications, whether we are sole proprietor, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, what all that means, how it affects us in our taxes. And before we have that class, if you need to know that information, I encourage you to connect with Bernadette, social media, Trust Bernadette, or go to trustbernadette.com or buy the book accounting.com. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, for showing up. And if you're watching replay, put hashtag replay. Make sure you share it with a DUALpreneur you like and love, even a few of them that you don't like. They need the information too.
Yeah, they need it. They need it.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on with us.
All right.